My name is Richard Wurzberger, and I have the honor and privilege to serve as chairman of the National Father's Day Committee. I would like to welcome our 2008 Fathers of the Year, Ron Klein, Randy Jackson, welcome. Hello. Paul O'Neill, Mark Shriver, and Murray Day. As well as, I'd also like to now introduce the moderator of our press conference, a man who many, and I include myself, consider the greatest shortstop in baseball history. He won 13 Gold Gloves, was selected to 15 All-Star games, played in 3 World Series, winning in 1982, a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, a 1986 National Father of the Year himself, and one of the real good guys that you'd ever meet, my good friend, the Wizard, Ozzie Smith.
Hey, Ronnie, can we get this guy out of here, please? Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here this morning, and as you can see, we have a very impressive group of Father of the Year honorees. I'd like to take a moment to introduce each one of them to you before asking the first question. So please hold your applause to the end. That includes you, Joey. Starting all the way on my right is Ron Klein. He's the CEO and chairman of Macy's East. As a leader in the retail industry, he has successfully helmed the company through the rebranding of a number of former federated divisions, including Riches, Lazarus, Goldsmiths, and as well as former May Company stores, including Felines, Kaufman's, Hecht's, and Strawberries, and has been responsible for expanding the Macy's brand into new markets across the country. He is also the father of 3 children, Zoe, Adam, and Sarah. Next is Randy Jackson, a Grammy-winning record producer and a judge on a little TV show called American Idol. Have you heard of that? He is also the proud father of 3 children. And I'm a proud father myself, and I must note that Mr. Jackson has excellent taste in musicians. Back in the 2005, he helped select my son, Nico Smith, to be one of the 10 Idol finalists.
Yes, Nico.
Yes, sir. We also have New York Yankees great Paul O'Neill. The right fielder earned 5 World Series rings and in 2001 became the oldest player in Major League Baseball history to steal 20 bases and hit 20 home runs in one season. You did that?
It's a long time ago.
Oh, Paul has 3 children, Andy, Aaron, and Allie. Next to Mr. O'Neill is Mark Shriver, who has devoted his entire career both in public service and the private sector to helping disadvantaged youth. Currently, Mr. Shriver runs programs and advocacy efforts for a nonprofit organization called Save the Children, which improves the early childhood development, literacy, physical activity, and nutrition of children living in impoverished rural U.S. communities. And somehow, he has found time for his own 3 children, Molly, Tommy, and Emma. And finally, we have our 2008 Ashok Sani All-Star Dad, who was selected by our blue ribbon panel of judges from thousands of letters written about great fathers from across the United States. This year's winner is Murray Day, a former member of the New Zealand track team who came to the U.S. to help his wife Esther raise her 2 daughters, Selena and Sophia Lopez, and then went on to have 2 more girls, Mallory and Sinead. Congratulations to all. Here's the first question, and I'm going to start with Ron, and we'll just work our way all the way down, okay? What lessons have you learned from your own father that help you become a better parent today? We'll start with Ron, and we'll just go right down the line. Pull the mic up close to you. Joey.
My dad was...
Excuse me a second. Turn the phone off.
Was that Joey again? My dad was, who passed away 18 months ago, was an immigrant. He loved this country. He taught me about determination, drive, perseverance, and a love of learning. He taught me about pride, and he taught me about humility, hopefully getting those in the right balance. Those are great lessons, and I hope that I can pass them on to my 3 children.
Randy.
My father, who I lost quite a while ago, would actually be proud of me sitting up here today. One of the greatest things that he wanted for me is that to find the passion in whichever job, whatever I wanted to do, just have something that I was really passionate about doing. Didn't really care that much what it was, but more than anything, for all of the kids, wanted us to grow up to be great people. I grew up in the South in a little town called Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he was one of 13 kids himself. So his whole thing was like, you know, the last thing and the first thing I always want to hear when you kids are out doing stuff is somebody comes back to me and says, you know what? You got a good kid right there. That kid's got his head on right. He's a very smart kid, very humble, very passionate about what he does. So I feel that being up here today kind of helped me do that.
Great.
Wow.
Well, growing up with sports, and Ozzie, I'm sure you can attest to this, I think that, you know, there's such a bond in the father-son relationship. Baseball, I mean, my father was my Little League coach, so I grew up with him. He had dreams, and I wanted to fulfill his dreams. But looking back, I mean, my father was my hero, and I guess, you know, I lost my father before Game 4 of the World Series, which the Yankees won, I think everybody remember, in 1999. But again, this is somebody that you always put yourself below trying to become as good as your father was, and it's just, I don't know if it's possible because there's no really guidebooks to parenting, but again, if I could put it in one line, is that my father was my hero because he was my mentor as a baseball player.
Great. Mark.
I guess I would just reemphasize a couple of points already made. My father never said do X or Y. He always said do what you want. Find what you're passionate about and then do it as well as anybody's ever done it. So work incredibly hard. He is still my role model. He's 92 years old. He has Alzheimer's. And the other thing he has taught me is he goes to Mass every day. And it's important to remember that there's a more powerful being than anybody in this room or obviously on this dais as well. And that it's important to acknowledge that and to ask for help every day, which he has done and continues to do.
I'm supposed to say something too? My dad, he was killed in 1990, and he was an amazing guy. He was a man of very few words, but what he taught me was that the value of hard work and honesty, and if you can live with yourself, and you know, just look at your kids in the eye, and you know, be honest with yourself, and it's basically the value of a good day's hard work. Never ever said that to me, but my uncle told me that he said that. That was my proudest moment, was the day that, you know, my uncle tells me that my dad said I did a good day's work. So.
Good, thank you. Great responses. Here's a second question. Imagine overhearing your kids talking to one of their friends. What would you like to hear them say? What would you think they would say? Let's start over here with you, Murray, and we'll go the other way. We'll finish with Ron.
I'm still nervous from the last one. As far as somebody saying something to
Yes,
somebody
if your kids, they were having a conversation with their friends, what would you hope they'd say about you?
I would just hope that they trusted me as a dad, and they felt like they could come and talk to me about anything, and I would support them and not necessarily judge them.
When my kids are talking, if the boy Tommy said, "You're going to meet Ozzie Smith and Paul O'Neill," I want to go. And the girls said, "Randy Jackson is so cool, I'm coming too." I would hope that they said, you know, your dad is a lot of fun, but and I don't mind if their kids' friends say I'm strict, as long as I am fair with them. I mean, you can be strict. I have no problem with that. My father was firm, never yelled. But if the kids say your dad's strict but cool and fun, that would be pretty good.
Cool. Polly.
Problem with answering here down the line is I use all the answers.
Hey, what's going on here?
You can repeat.
I think it's so important that when kids are with other kids, that they are proud of you as a father, of what you've done and the way you've lived your life. I mean, other than baseball and all the things like this, just that, you know, that they can look up to you for doing the right things in life, period. And I think down the road that that's far more important than, you know, the things that you accomplish out in the line of work that you're in.
Okay, God. Everything that they all said before, plus, for me, what would be really great is if I overheard my kid talking to any other kid, be it, you know, my son or any of my two daughters, I'd love to hear them repeat something to these kids that I've said to them, because at least I know that they've listened to at least one thing I said. But, you know, also just the fact of that, you know, that we are friends and that I'm cool and that they actually have a lot of admiration for their dad, of just being a dad, not being a celebrity.
Cool. Brian.
I would love to hear them say, or my youngest say, I love my dad.
Yeah.
I think that she would probably also say, or they would probably say, he's tough, but he's fair. And if I could get some love and some fairness, I'd be fine with it.
I love you, Dad.
That's great. Those are great answers. You know, that concludes the formal press conference here, and I would like to thank the honorees as well as the media for joining us this morning. I'd like to now invite all of our guests to move into the Broadway room at this time, and I'd like to ask the dais to remain here so that we can probably take some pictures and we can organize going into the ballroom. So thanks all of you for coming.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at the 67th Annual National Father of the Year Luncheon. My name is Joe Rivers, and I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director for the National Mother's Day Council. And, surprisingly enough, I'd like to ask you all to stand and enjoy singing the national anthem with our guest, Meredith Lustig.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was a great inspiration. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the chairman of the National Father's Day Committee, Senior Vice President of Peerless Clothing, Mr. Richard A. Wurtzberger.
Well, it was between Meredith and myself to sing the national anthem, but I thought since Randy Jackson was here, I'd kind of let her steal the stage. I'm proud to announce that the proceeds from today's luncheon will be donated to our charity partner, Save the Children's U.S. programs. which benefits almost 35,000 youngsters who live in areas persistent rural poverty in America. Partnering with schools and community organizations, Save the Children provide high-quality early childhood development services for children from birth to age 5, and literacy and physical activity nutrition programs for children from kindergarten through 8th grade. I'd also like to acknowledge a few of our former honorees that are in attendance with us today. From 2007, Alan Sirkin. 2006, Mike Satola. And some guy we'll get to a little bit later in the show from 1986, Ozzie Smith. We have a terrific group of honorees, and I would like to congratulate all of you on receiving your awards today. So congratulations to Ron Klein, Randy Jackson, Paul O'Neill, and Mark Shriver, as well as this year's All-Star Dad, Murray Day. Helen Keller once said, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." When you listen to these words, it really exemplifies what being a father is all about. From the day that your first child is born, you are a changed man. In your heart, you feel a very special love, one that you have never experienced before. And as men, we love our wives, our parents, our siblings, our family, and our friends. But that love for your child, who you created, and who acts just like you, good and bad, burns deeper in your heart than any love you have ever felt. In your eyes, they can do no wrong, and all you want for them is to be the best person that they can be. You worry about their safety and their well-being. The joy and excitement that runs through your heart every time you look at your child is a feeling that you can't put into words. The fear of knowing that you are responsible for molding and shaping these young minds is a challenge which makes you grow as a person to a maturity level higher than you ever thought that you could reach. Who else can bring such joy and a smile to your face than a child? It is very important that children today have positive role models with strong values. Who better for that role than parents and grandparents? What you do, how you act, and what you say in front of them is so important, because kids, because kids want to emulate their parents. It is important that we teach them the differences between right and wrong, teach them about charity and helping the less fortunate, teach them to treat people the way they want to be treated, teach them to be the person that we want them to be. My wife, Jennifer, who is very happy is here today with me, we try to strive and instill these values and these messages every day in our two wonderful sons, Ryan and Gavin, on a daily basis. It's now my pleasure and honor to present not one, but two very special awards to a truly outstanding leader in the retail industry. Ron Klein is not only an extraordinary businessman and a compassionate humanitarian, but most importantly, he is a loving and caring father to children Zoe, Adam, and Sarah. This afternoon, Ron becomes only the fourth honoree in 67 years, that's pretty good, to simultaneously receive the Father of the Year and the Milton J. Margolis Humanitarian Award. Ron has logged over 30 years in the retail industry with many years of merchandising, product development, marketing, and store experience. He was named chairman and CEO of Macy's East in 2004. After serving as chairman of the Riches, Lazarus, and Goldsmiths Group, he previously had served as vice chairman and director of stores for Macy's East, chairman of Macy's Inc.'s former Stearns division, and has served in a number of merchandising positions for other Macy's Inc. divisions. In his free time, Ron and his wife Bonnie devote themselves to to multiple charities and organizations. Ron is actively involved in the congregation Road of Shalom and Road of Shalom School, which I actually attended, believe it or not, and has been honored by the Lubavitch Youth Organization and the Boy Scouts of America. It is now my great pleasure and honor to present both the 2008 National Father of the Year Award and the Milton J. Margolis Humanitarian Award to a man that I have long admired and looked up to in the apparel industry, Mr. Ron Klein. That's you, right?
That's me. Ron, thank you. Thank you, Richard. And I guess I also need to thank the Father's Day Council for selecting me to be the recipient of the Milton Margolis Humanitarian Award and Father of the Year. My heartiest congratulations to Randy, Paul, Mark, and Murray as well. So in 2 minutes, which is what they've given me, can I tell you what it's like to be a father? Maybe yes, maybe no. The reason I am here today, more than any other, are the people at table 23. Please allow me to introduce to you my wife, Bonnie, my daughters, Zoe and Sarah, my mom, my sister, Francine, her husband, Victor, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, Hank and Roz, are here along with Amy Greenberg. Between my wife and her exquisite sense of style and taste level, my sister, who won't tell me why her handbag business is so good, and my father-in-law, Hank, who some of you may know as the inventor when he was at Bamberger's as a GMM of the one-day sale, and he calls me promotional. You could call it a retail family. My son, Adam, who is finally gainfully employed off the payroll, as you say, unfortunately could not be with us today. That's why I'm here today. Family. That's what it's all about, family. As the son of an immigrant, having been provided a wonderful home, a wonderful upbringing, truly living a superb version of the American dream, I have been given the opportunity to achieve so much. As the chairman of Macy's East, I am proud to be here today. Our company, as part of its core values, embraces the concept of give back. And today is an opportunity for Macy's and for me to demonstrate this value. It is an honor to be a conduit, as those of us with leadership positions in our industry do, to raise money specifically for this worthy cause, Save the Children. The closest concept, the one closest to my heart, is the one begun last year, Early Steps to School Success. It's focused on parents-to-be and children through the ages of 5 who receive medical care and education here in the United States that would otherwise not be provided. And as a businessman, I am pleased to say that Save the Children is an organization where over 92% of the funds go directly to the support programs. The first time I attended this luncheon, at that time I think it was the Men's Father's Day luncheon in the mid-1980s, I heard Milt Margolis, after which the Humanitarian Award is named, speak. At that time I was new to the men's industry, working at Foley's as a divisional in men's furnishings, and yes, I did meet and work with Milt. And I had the privilege of coming to this luncheon when he spoke. It was the first time I heard the quote, "All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing." It resonated with me then, it resonates with me now. So I thank you for all making a contribution to a cause as worthy as Save the Children, for being good men and good women who do something. We should feel good about our gift to the next generation. I am here today because of my father, who gave our family and me so much. To whom much is given, much is expected. Thank you for allowing me to give back. And I personally want to thank all of you for attending today, for your contributions to those whose lives would otherwise be worse off. Thank you very much.
Our MC for today's luncheon was honored in 1986 as a National Father of the Year, but you all know him for his illustrious and acrobatic Hall of Fame baseball career, as well as that great smile. He started every game by running out to shortstop and doing his patented flip. Can you still do that, Oz? Not intentionally. The Wizard won 13 Gold Gloves, was selected to 15 All-Star games, and was the 1985 NLCS MVP. In 1989, he received the Lou Gehrig Award. In 1994, the Branch Rickey Award, and in 1995, the Roberto Clemente Award for his community service. Now, that's some pretty big hardware right there. Put that up there along with the Father's Day. And just for good measure, in 2003, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on his first year of eligibility. Shortly after his playing days were over, Smith took over for the late Mel Allen as the host of the long-running TV series This Week in Baseball. In the 1985 NLCS versus the Dodgers, Ozzie hit a game-winning home run in the ninth to put the Cardinals into the World Series. And this homer was made famous for its radio call by the late broadcaster Jack Buck. As he said, and I quote, "Smith corks one into right. Down the line it goes." And as the ball landed over the fence, Buck continued, "Go crazy, folks, go crazy." So ladies and gentlemen, my good friend and our MC for today's luncheon, Mr. Ozzie Smith. So go crazy, folks, go crazy.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Before I go any further, there's a silent auction that's going on outside, too. We'd like you to take a look at that, and the proceeds will also go to the Save the Children campaign. It truly is an honor for me to be here again this year to present the 2008 Father of the Year Awards. And at this time, I'd just like to thank you for coming and invite you to have a great lunch, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure and honor to introduce the president of the National Father's Day Mother's Day Council, a man who has devoted countless hours and immeasurable passion to this organization. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Vice President of Macy's Merchandising Group and father of three, Mr. Stuart Goldblatt.
Stay here for a second. Thank you. Everyone, this is Rich's last year as the chairman of the Father's Day Luncheon, National Father's Day Luncheon. We've been working on this together for 8 years. Rich was a loyal soldier in the group when I was the Father's Day chairman and ran the lunches. And then one year, I decided I wasn't going to run the lunches anymore. And I was thinking of the best person possible, and it was Rich Wurzburger. And he has not let us down. Every year gets better and bigger. And the first year, I was a little concerned. Called your dad. I said, "Is he up to the challenge?" Dad said, "He's up to the challenge. He's going to knock your socks off." And you did. So thank you very much. And we really appreciate all your dedication. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. To honor the 2008 Fathers of the Year, we're pleased you could be here. We truly appreciate your support and your generosity, particularly as you know the proceeds will benefit our good friends at Save the Children. We're also pleased to honor 5 wonderful fathers today. In addition, we honor 2 great men who have contributed so highly in the past, Milton Margolis and Ashok Sani. Today, I have the honor of introducing the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad and Father of the Year. But first, let me just speak a few moments about Ashok Sani, the person this award is named in honor. Ashok Sani was my dear friend, and I miss him every day, as I know many of you in the audience feel the same. Ashok was the president of CGS Industries, was born and educated in Hong Kong, and then came to the United States and New York University, where he majored in accounting and management, graduated NYU summa cum laude as the torchbearer of the 1974 class. At that time, Ashok was the youngest ever to graduate from NYU. He then joined his family business, where he excelled and always retained a strong commitment to making the world a better place. In tribute to Ashok's commitment and love of New York University, the Sani family is the sole underwriter of the Sani Scholar in Residence program, which shares Ashok's interest in ethics, truth, love, peace, nonviolence, compassion, and the moral and social responsibilities of members of the society within the NYU community. Ashok, beloved husband to Shalu, and the most devoted father to Suraj and Monish, he was always focused on his family. Ashok, in one statement, was this: an incredible human being beloved by all. A poem comes to mind that is attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson, although it was actually written by Bessie Stanley. I think that Ashok would not appreciate me thinking of a poem or a quote in reference to him. He would always say, well, what do you think? But here it goes anyway, a poem that in my mind captured Ashok Sani's philosophy of success. It is to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. Ashok, you left us too soon, and we miss you. After reviewing thousands of essays from all over the United States and as part of the writing campaign sponsored by the National Father's Day Committee, Best Life Magazine, and the Sani Family Foundation, the committee selected this year's winner of the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award is Mr. Murray Day. And Murray's right down here. Murray is a New Zealand native who met his wife Esther while he was competing for the New Zealand track team, splitting his time between New Zealand and London. Esther, an athlete as well and member of the U.S. track team, finally convinced her then future husband to move to California with her and her two daughters, Selena and Sophia Lopez. After a few years, Murray and Esther married and had two additional daughters, Mallory and Sinead. Although the two oldest girls have a different biological father who passed away at an early age, Murray has been a true and devoted father to all four girls and has encouraged and provided them with the freedom to follow their dreams as well as a moral and financial safety net to guide their journey. Murray Day currently lives in California with his wife and his daughters and is the general manager at a Honda motorcycle dealership, which sounds like a really cool job. Before inviting Murray up to receive his award, I would like to invite his daughter, Selena, to read the essay she submitted. Selena?
Hi. He talks funny, I told my mom after meeting Murray in our small house in San Bernardino at the age of 6. My mother was divorced and met Murray in London. He was from New Zealand, a place at that age I had never heard of. Over the next few years, this Murray character was around a lot. I guess he was okay. My younger sister and I were indifferent and still very close to our biological father. It wasn't for years that we would realize the importance and love that Murray had for us. My biological father was an amazing man, and we loved him very much. However, at a young age, he was diagnosed with a deadly cancer and suffered before passing away at age 37. Murray took us to the hospital for visits and was supportive in ways a stepfather wasn't typically viewed. Before my father died, from his hospital bed, he asked Murray, "Take care of my girls." I can say with confidence and admiration for Murray that those words have held true. Murray has supported my sisters. He had 2 more girls with my mother and me through college and supported our dreams. Most importantly, I trust him and can depend on him for moral, financial, and emotional support. Murray isn't just an amazing father, he is an amazing person and one of the kindest and friendliest men you will ever meet. I can't imagine going out for dinner in our hometown and not having someone yell, "Hey Murray, how the heck are ya?" and shaking his hand. I couldn't have asked for a better stepfather. Although I knew him growing up as Murray, I think it's safe to say that he is truly my dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, Murray Day.
Didn't realize there's going to be so many people here. So now Colton said it's like this little luncheon thing, you know. Having heard that before from Snell about 3 weeks ago, it was pretty awe-inspiring because I have a daughter that we just see every day or every other, you know, once or twice a year now that she's moved away from home. And you just do family stuff and you just think that you try and be a dad and you know, just be part of a family. And to have somebody write that about you and find out in that way from somebody else that's what they think of you is pretty inspiring. So I feel very honored to be here. So I heard this one good saying one time that the older I get, the smarter my father becomes. And I just kind of took that to heart because my dad wasn't really smart when I was 16, but by the time I was about 22, he became really smart. And I'm hoping that as my girls get older, I'm becoming smarter. So on a final note, I'd just like to say thank you for everybody for coming and giving your time and your effort to raise money for the charity that we're here for. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm here to present the awards, and I guess we can get started with that. The first award today goes to someone who got his big break when he joined the hit band Journey, Mr. Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson is a Grammy Award-winning producer with 20 years' experience in the music industry. 2008 has been an extremely extraordinary year for him as he recently completed the 7th season of American Idol, which once again garnered record-breaking ratings. He executive produced a new program called America's Best Dance Crew, where dance crews from across the country compete against one another. And he released his new album, Randy Jackson's Music Club Volume 1, which featured artists including Paula Abdul, Mariah Carey, and Katharine McPhee. When he isn't discovering new idols, jousting with Simon, or making music with Mariah, Mr. Jackson works for several important causes, including Save the Children. Yo, dog, check it out. I know I was probably a little pitchy. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife and 3 children. And at this time, please join me in congratulating Randy Jackson as a 2008 Father of the Year.
Wow, thank you guys so much. This is a rare, amazing treat for me. I'm so honored to be here. I know if my dad was alive today, he'd be like, yeah, dude, you finally made it. And it wouldn't be for any of the accolades that I've had in the entertainment business. I mean, this would be his proudest moment because I think what he instilled in myself, my brother, and my sister, and all of us is just to try and become great people. And if one day we became parents, he would always say, you know what? See this I'm going through with you right now? When you're a parent, you're going to really understand, dude. And I truly do, and I truly love being a parent, and I think it's probably, amongst all the things that I've done in my life, probably my greatest joy. And I tell people all the time and say, well, what are you most proud of? I say being a parent, being a dad, and having my kids say that, you know, my dad's kind of cool, man. He listens to me. You know, we hang out, we do things, because I think, you know, for me, it's been a great experience because my kids are like my best friends. We talk about everything. We do everything together. So, you know, definitely I have a semi-stern hand, maybe not quite the Simon Cowell one, but Simon's just inwardly a little angry. But more than I. But I think, you know, I hear them talk to their friends, and, you know, my son has a little band. He's 10, and he's got a little rock band that he's in now, and you know, I'll go out there and jam with them, and they'll go, you know, I mean, your dad is cool, man. Like, people don't really know this guy. They see this guy on TV, and they think he's one way, and he's actually really this cool, like, warm, gentle kind of, still very cool guy. So, So I'm really, really happy about that. And I got to tell you something, man. Ozzy, that was good. The yo, check it out. That was good, man. That means Ozzy's been watching the show. Yeah. And I got to give a big shout out. You know, I give shout outs, right? I got to give a big shout out to Mark Shriver here because he brought Save the Children into my life, and it's definitely helped to enrich my life. And we worked together with the Katrina victims a couple years ago on Idol Gives Back, and we just worked this past year, well, this year, a couple of months back on Idol Gives Back in California. So it's an amazing organization, so proud and happy to be a part of it, and happy to be here and happy to be honored amongst the names from years past. I can't even believe I'm in this esteemed panel of these guys. It's so cool. Thank you.
Our next award goes to Yes Network analyst and former New York Yankee All-Star right fielder, Mr. Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill is currently in his 7th season as New York Yankees analyst for the Yes Network. He played Major League Baseball for 17 seasons from 1985 to 2001. He appeared in 6 World Series and earned 5 World Series rings, 1 with the Cincinnati Reds and 4 with the New York Yankees. He also played in 5 All-Star games. Mr. O'Neill began his Major League Baseball career in 1985 with the Cincinnati Reds, and after 8 seasons with the Reds, he joined the Yankees in 1993. Are you a Yankee fan, Ron? He joined the Yankees in 1993, with whom he won the American League batting title in 1994 with a .359 batting average, and from July 23rd, 1995 until May 7th, 1997, Paul O'Neill played 235 games in right field without making an error. In 1997, he led the American League in hitting with men on base with a .429 average, and on August 25, 2001, O'Neill became the oldest major leaguer to steal 20 bases and hit 20 home runs in the same season. Mr. O'Neill resides in Cincinnati with his wife, let me make sure I get this right, Nevalee? Pretty good. And is the proud father of Andy, Aaron, and Allie. Please join me in congratulating Paul O'Neill as a 2008 Man of the Year. Father of the Year. Got it. There you go, Father. It's all yours. Big deal. Yeah.
Ozzy, you went through all the things that I did in my career, and I want to add one thing is I basically helped you get to the Hall of Fame because you stole half the hits that I would have gotten in the National League. It wasn't until I went to the American League that I started hitting over 300, and you were a big cause of that. But as I look out here, I was very surprised to see, you mentioned I work for the Yes Network, the Yankee Entertainment and Sports Network, and I was very surprised to see the family out here today. And John Filippelli, I apologize. I lied to you. I was supposed to do games this week, but I told him I was going to be out of the country, so the cat's out of the bag at this point. But you do understand it's a worthwhile event, so I am here. First of all, I mean, nature intended us to, as fathers, to have wives and children. I would not have children without a wife, Nevalee. Thank you very much. We grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Seems like about 104 years ago, but we're still making it. Things are well. Again, 2 of my sons are down in Mexico on a mission trip working at an orphanage where kids realize what not having a father is all about. So I know when you look at things like that, that you know you have done something right when kids jump on a plane and are eager to get down and work with children. So my other daughter, Allie, she's here today. So don't let out any secrets out. But when I look back at my father, I look back at a guy who grew up in Nebraska as a dairy farmer, worked all of his life, was fought in a war, worked to raise a family, to get home to coach a Little League game. So it's, there's one word that comes to my mind, and that's a hero. And I look back at everything that my father did for us, and I can only hope that I leave that same imprint on my kids' lives. But thank you very much. This is a special award. You don't get too many awards when you're an athlete outside of athletics that mean something. So thank you very much.
Our final award goes to someone who has dedicated his entire career, both in public service and the private sector, to helping disadvantaged youth. Mr. Mark Shriver. Mark Shriver serves as Vice President and Managing Director of the U.S. programs for Save the Children. In this role, Mr. Shriver leads Save the Children's programmatic and advocacy efforts to improve the early childhood development, literacy, physical activity, and nutrition of children living in impoverished rural communities across the United States. Since joining in 2003, he has successfully diversified revenue sources for the U.S. He even secured the largest private gift in the program's 75-year history. He has also significantly enhanced productivity while expanding the number of children served in the United States. Mr. Shriver served 2 four-year terms as a member of the Maryland House of Delegates and was Maryland's first ever chair of the Joint Committee on Children, Youth, and Families. Mr. Shriver also was appointed chair of the Children and Youth Subcommittee of the House Ways and Means Committee. During his legislative service, he was reportedly recognized as an Outstanding Legislator of the Year by prominent advocacy and civic organizations. In 1988, Mark founded Choice Program, a public-private partnership that serves delinquent and at-risk youth through intensive community-based counseling and job training services in partnership with the State of Maryland, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, the City of Baltimore, Baltimore County, Prince George's County, private businesses, and foundations. In his free time, Lord knows where he finds it. With this resume, Mr. Shriver and his wife, Jeannie Rip Shriver, enjoy being with their 3 children, Molly, Tommy, and Emma. Please join me in congratulating Mark Shriver as a 2008 Father of the Year.
Thank you very much. I want to call you Mr. Smith because I've admired you for so long, but thank you very much, Ozzie, for that very kind introduction. I want to thank the Father's Day Council, Rich Wurzberger. I want to thank Ron, who said very nice things about Save the Children where I work right now and also has helped out financially. Murray, who gave a great talk. Paul O'Neill for ruining my college experience when I was rooting for the Red Sox. It's nice to be with you. Even though I hate the Yankees, even though this guy's probably going to boo me now. And I want to thank Randy Jackson, who is the first ever ambassador for Save the Children's United States programs. I've been around a lot of famous people in my life, and I've never met a guy who is better with kids, who is less maintenance, who is a wonderful guy, who interacts with people of all ages. Doesn't matter whether they're rich and famous. This guy is the real deal. And I want to thank Randy Jackson very much. He actually, he flew in last night, supposed to get in at 1 o'clock in the morning, got delayed, got up, got into the hotel at about 2, and then did the national television this morning, CBS, talking about this award and Save the Children at 7:30. So he really is the man. So when I got the word that I was going to get this award, first thing I did, I come from a highly competitive family. So I called my mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and I said, Mother, you're not going to believe this. I got this award, Father of the Year award. And she paused and said, that's the same one your Uncle Jack got, Bobby got, Teddy got, and your father got, and they all got it when they were younger than you. And I said, okay, Mommy, thank you. Like getting a little Irish love for me. So then I called up thinking it might get a little better. I called up my brother Timothy. I said, Tim, you're not going to believe it. I got this award. He goes, oh, yeah, that guy Rich Wurzberger, he called me up and asked me if I wanted to get it. And I said, he did? And he goes, yeah, he talked about the Special Olympics. I run it. We had the International Games in Shanghai, 95,000 people at opening ceremony, President Wu. I said, okay, I got it. So I hung up. I made one more call. I called my brother Bobby, and he said, oh, yeah, Rich called me too. He asked me to. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, I started Product Red. I'm a great father. I did this thing with Bono. I eradicated debt in Africa. I'm like, okay, I got it. So this went on for a while longer. So let me go to something positive in my life. My children and my beautiful wife, Jeannie, are right in the front here. I want to introduce Molly, Tommy, and Emma, my wife, Jeannie. Jeannie's also Irish, so when I told her I got this award, she said, how do they evaluate whether you really deserve this? And I said, I actually have no idea, but I'm glad I got this award before Arnold got it. So if I had to hear him lambast me, that would have really put me over the edge. I am seriously honored to receive this award. And my dad did win it in 1964. It was the year that I was born. And I'm grateful that the committee has once again chosen Save the Children to receive the funds from this event. This is my third time attending this wonderful event. And I was trying to think about why I was chosen, why I believe so strongly in this. And I think part of it is because I believe so strongly in the award, and I've tried to help the committee find folks that deserve the award, not only for Father of the Year, but also for Mother of the Year. I thought about the reason for that was because I wanted you folks to buy more tickets so that Save the Children would make more money. The answer is no. Did I work hard for the committee because I was hoping that one day they would give the award to me, and the answer to that again is no. I think I did it because after all is said and done, I honestly don't think there's a more important job, a career, work, whatever you want to call it, in the world than being a mom or a dad. My son Tommy, who is 8, said to me the other day, so many people in our family have run for president. And he's right. 3 uncles and a father, and my father also ran for vice president. And those are obviously critically important jobs. But so too is the work that each of us in this room does every day to support our families, our communities, our country. And that is the most important work out there. My dad may be known as the guy who created the Peace Corps, Head Start, Legal Services, Job Corps, and other programs, and he helped my mom internationalize the Special Olympics. But to me today, he's a 92-year-old man battling Alzheimer's with dignity and grace, and still my hero and role model. As kids, he helped play sports with us until we dropped, and he is 49 years older than me. He'd hit fly balls, he'd play pepper games, he'd play tennis and football all day long. He was at every sporting contest I participated in. He helped with homework, he took us on trips, and I'm sure he went out to dinner and to other events, but he always seemed to be there at home. He never missed a day of work, and I know he didn't always feel well. Just as importantly, he never yelled at us, and he never raised his voice. If he disagreed with my mom, I didn't know it, and they ironed it out in private. He never raised his voice at her, and in fact, he treats her like a true gentleman should to this day. They've been married for over 55 years. Most importantly, he went to Mass every day of his life and still does to this day. In so doing, my dad shows me every day that there's a being more powerful than any man has ever been, that it is important to acknowledge that and ask for help. He believes in the message of hope and fairness and forgiveness and love, and he lives that daily. The Peace Corps may be his most famous achievement, but he has 5 kids who love him and try to emulate him every day. In honoring me today, you honor my dad again, 44 years later, and you reinforce to my family and to me that the most important thing in the world is being a dad. Thank you very much for this award.
That concludes the presentation portion of our program. It has truly been an honor for me to be here today with all of you. And before I say goodbye, I want to bring back the person who made today possible. He's my friend and the Father's Day true MVP, Mr. Richard Wurzburger, Chairman of the National Day Fathers Committee, Senior Vice President of Peerless Clothing.
Thank you, sir. You know, Mark, you were our number one choice. We never went to your brothers. And I think everybody here can see why he was our number one choice, because he's just fabulous. So thank you. I'd like to thank the 2008 National Father's Day Committee for their outstanding efforts and all their hard work and dedication. Paul Metcalf, Malcolm Robinson, Stuart Goldblatt, Scott Paulworth, Todd Kahn, Paul Rosengard, Harry Harrison, Sunil Sani, David Sirkin, Glenn Shannon, Lily Sidorovich, Chip Thompson, Joe Rivers, Elizabeth Kellick, Dan Orwig, and Lynn Schaefer. I would also like to thank our generous sponsors, starting with our co-chair sponsor, which was Macy's and Bloomingdale's, our platinum sponsors, which were Artful Dodger, Best Life Magazine, Nautica VF Corp., Peerless Clothing, Phillips Van Heusen, Sean John, and the Sani family. Our gold sponsors, Estee Lauder, Fossil, Kids Headquarters, Perry Ellis, and Polo Ralph Lauren, Rockaware, and TJX Marmax. And our silver sponsors, Accessory Network, All American Apparel, Boston Harbor, Brooklyn Express, Capital Mercury, Cipriani, Coach, Echo Unlimited, Fishman & Tobin, George Weintraub & Sons, G3, Guess Jeans, Atochu Prominent, Jimilar, Levi, Liz Claiborne, Markcraft Apparel, and Oxford Clothing. And a special thanks to Best Life Magazine for running our online All-Star Dad contest, which I think you can all see they did an outstanding job, as well as printing all of our needs with our save the dates and our programs, and always going above the call of duty. The word no never existed in their vocabulary. We have a great gift bag today for everyone on their way out today, and it couldn't have been possible without all the hard work and coordination of Kathy DiBernardo, Todd Kahn, and Sunil Sani, and all the people at CGS Industries who packed and delivered the bags, and a special thanks to the people at Accessory Networks for donating the bags. I'd also like to thank all the companies that donated items for the gift bag: Best Life, Calvin Klein, Perry Ellis, Save the Children, Randa, TJX Marmax, Gold Toe, Fossil, Macy's Bloomingdale's, and Gold Medal. And thank you to Joel Oakes and Mark Shriver for your help with honorees, and to the Sani family for all your help with the All-Star Dad Essay Contest selection. And thank you to my father, Ronnie Wurzburger, for his advice, ideas, and support, and for all my coworkers at Peerless Clothing for all their tireless efforts and support all year long. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my wife, Jennifer, my sons, Ryan and Gavin, and for everything that they do. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Ozzie Smith for being today's MC. We know that you have a very busy schedule, and it's really hard once you retire and you're a Hall of Famer, and they all want you to come and play in their charity golf tournaments. And thank God we didn't have the event on a Monday, so you were able to join us. And, you know, Ozzie, every time I speak to him, he's at another golf event. So we wanted to give him a little gift, and we thought that a really nice, cool, hip watch that you could wear while you play golf.
Oh, okay. Can I open it?
You can open it. So we wanted to say thank you. You've been a wonderful MC for us the last 2 years, so thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Richie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott picked it up, too. And Ozzie, don't go away, because we're going to give you one last job.
Okay.
So everyone, did you find your blue tickets? Oh, yeah. And now don't forget the silent auction on your way out. All right, so we got to spin it here.
Put those back in there. They're jumping out.
All right, here we go. For the Raymond Weil watch, number 466591.
No, 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 no.
Do we have a winner? All right, come on up. Come on up. And this is Jane Rothman from Macy's. But please remember your fathers on Sunday, June 15th. And we look forward to seeing all of you at next year's luncheon. We already have 2 honorees locked up, and I know that you'll want to see them. All I can say is that one of them is going for the gold in this year's Summer Olympics. So thank you, and have a great afternoon.